Hello, my name is Louise Jupp for Women in Drones Africa. Welcome to a series of Zoom chats with trailblazing women in the African drone industry. In this series, I'll be chatting to women about the role they're playing in the industry, how they got into the drone industry, why they got into the drone industry, as well as some of the challenges they may have faced, opportunities that they see today, as well as any advice they may have for someone who's looking at the industry and wondering what they can do. Excuse me. Today, I'm delighted to introduce you to Suzanne von Rauenstein from South Africa. Hello.
Hi, Louise. Hi there. Hi, everyone.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Cool. I'm going to ask you the first question like it's like a real sort of job interview, but who are you and what do you do?
Okay. Louise, so I've been in the aviation industry for about 13 years. I'm a commercial helicopter pilot. I still fly helicopters, well, as often as I can. But I must be honest, my main focus these days has ventured into the drone industry. So at this point in time, I'm a qualified RPL instructor as well as a designated flight examiner. I've been instructing since 2016, so I've been in the industry or the training industry for the past 4 years now, almost 5 years. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I guess this kind of leads on to the next question anyway. But I'm interested. You know, going from helicopter to drones to RPAS. What attracted you? Why?
So it's almost a natural progression that happened. With helicopter flying, I started realizing that drones are slowly but surely taking away a lot of our business as helicopter pilots. It's just a lot quicker, a lot safer, and a lot cheaper, so to speak, to do certain things with a drone instead of hiring a helicopter. You know, for a very small helicopter, for instance, a Robinson 44, which is a 4-seater, but in reality, when it's a hot day in Johannesburg, you really only can take 2 people up in the helicopter. You know, to hire that helicopter will cost about 6,200 Rand ex VAT. So you're looking at over 7,000 Rand just for an hour's hire of a helicopter, versus hiring a drone pilot. And obviously, because the maintenance on a drone is not as excessive as that on a helicopter, the price is often a lot cheaper than hiring a helicopter. So it was sort of, I was involved at an aviation training school already, and they approached me and asked me if I would be interested.
Okay.
I didn't know that much about drones at that point in time. I've never flown one. I've only been involved in the manned aviation, and I started reading up and I thought, oh my goodness, this is definitely going to be the future. This is so exciting. I want to get involved. And that's basically how I got involved. And I did my RPL license and then my instructor's rate.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, that's a really interesting background for that. Yeah. I mean, okay, so you're in it, but what now? What do you feel that really kind of keeps you in the industry? What's there? What's in the background?
Well, so I started off as an instructor, and then I became a designated flight examiner. But I quickly realized that in the industry, once the guys have their license, they're still not 100% legal to actually go and operate and do commercial work. They actually need something called an ROC or RPAS operating certificate. So this is almost like, so you have to create a company that then applies at the Civil Aviation Authority, and then they give you permission to operate commercially. And there's certain things that you have to go through and certain things that you have to submit, for instance, operations manual, to explain to them how you're going to do business, and how you're going to make sure that everything will be safe, and how you do your quality assurance checks to make sure that all the pilots comply with regulations and procedures and so on. And I quickly realized that all these students that I'm training, a lot of them necessarily can't go beyond that because they don't necessarily have the money at that point in time to create an ROC. So I thought it would be fantastic to create an ROC and then give them this opportunity to actually work under an ROC and to start earning an income. So in the background, my ROC is almost completed now. So I'm the CEO of All About Drones. So we're in the process of getting that sorted. And the plan is to help all these young students, well, young, if I not necessarily connected to age, but the guys that just recently finished their training, for them to have a platform to work from. So I think it's very exciting, and there's just so many opportunities. And the reason why I'm still in the industry is because every day I come across new applications for drones. It's really part of the new fourth industrial revolution that everyone keeps talking about. I can see it in all the different industries, so it's super exciting. It's an industry where you cannot get bored, and I'm someone that can get bored quite quickly. So I think that's the thing that keeps me there.
Yeah. Oh no, that's absolutely. It is an amazing industry. How it just keeps on evolving. And I like what you're doing. That's excellent. What did you say? All About Drones? Is that what it's?
All About Drones.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. No, that's a great idea, because you do kind of feel you can push people out of the training school, but then they haven't learned to fly under bridges, or they haven't learned how to fly close up to inspect things, and you kind of want to help people get to that point without any disasters. Yeah.
Exactly. So part of the All About Drone platform is we actually then specifically exactly what you said now is after the RPL and license and then becoming legal, is to, if they're interested in agriculture as an example, to give them specific training in that specific field. So we would have these different silos, so to speak, that would function underneath All About Drones, and each silo will be managed by a specific expert in that specific industry, and that person then will then go and do the advanced training that's required for the specific industry and the requirements for that person to then become operational. Because at this point in time, like you say, there's still quite a big gap between becoming legal and the operational side of things. And just by choosing your software or which programs to use for a specific applications is extremely important.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. Just want to, while we're still on the sort of subject of what keeps you in or what attracted you, I'm curious in the training school, sort of what do you think is roughly the percentage split between men and women? The pilot, people coming to train as a pilot. I'm curious.
So, Louise, it's so interesting. I must be honest, it's definitely at this point in time a male-dominant environment. I'd say the split is 90% to 10. It is massive. It's actually quite massive. If it's not even more, I mean, I must actually go and check the exact numbers. But I often have classes where there's not one single female out of, say, 10 students. But let's say roughly about 90 to 10%.
Okay.
So it's a big difference.
And have you got a theory as to why that might be?
That is interesting. I have wondered about it often. And the one thing I can say is I love having the female students there, especially when it comes to the practical flying. I don't know if guys just grow up more with, I don't know, playing around with technology and Xbox and PlayStation and things like that. If you compare it to what the girls at a young age are interested in. I don't know if that's just it just evolves. Then the next phase would then be to buy your own drone or whatever it might be. So they might just be interested. So it might be something that's a little bit foreign to girls, I think. But I can tell you they don't have to be scared. It's so interesting. I love training the females because I always say to them, I love it that you fly like a girl. And I don't mean it in a bad way whatsoever, but they've got a nice touch they've got a natural feel often for the drone. The guys are more, they want to race and they fly fast, and so the females tend to be a more precise, and not so aggressive in their approach. They take it slow, but they do it perfect. And that's obviously just a general view, but so it's interesting. I think it's just something that's guys are just more interested, I think, or maybe even females think that, and what they don't realize is flying a drone is just one small part of the whole industry. There's so many other aspects where people can get involved. It's not just flying a drone. There's so many other role players in the industry that's connected to flying a drone.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've hit a big subject there, I think, and it's certainly something that I feel strongly about. To focus just on being the pilot is to miss the majority of the value of the drone and its use. So
Exactly.
But that being said, it is fun piloting one of those things. But having said that, because I mean, people have said to me, "Oh, I'm not technically minded," and I said, "Well, you don't need to be, really." It's a shame, I think. But well, as I said, I kind of hope this is what I would like Women in Drones Africa to try and raise the awareness of where and how women and girls can become more involved in this industry, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just curious, was there anybody that inspired you perhaps to get into aviation, let alone the drone industry? Was there somebody out there or something that happened that inspired you?
There's something that happened. So it took me quite a while to figure out what I want to do in life. Like I say, I'm not someone that should sit in the office the whole day. I get bored quickly. I like adventure and I like challenges and I like new things and to experience different things, to get exposed to all sorts of different stuff. So it took me a while, and I remember I visited my parents in Somerset West in the Western Cape, and there was a newspaper article about flying helicopters and the different types of work that you can do by being a helicopter pilot. And I absolutely love nature and the environment. And one of the things there was, help towards anti-poaching, and lots of application in the Kruger National Park. They fly squirrel helicopters there. And I read the article and I just knew this is what I need to do. But at that point in time, I was already in my 30s. So, and I obviously found out how much it costs to get a commercial helicopter license. And I thought, that's just impossible. I'll never be able to do it. It's quite a stretch. But after the article, I read it, and I remember my mom said to me, that newspaper is actually old. I read it and I thought of you, and I decided to keep it and thought I must show it to you. And I just happened to pick up the newspaper and I read it and I thought, oh my goodness, I need to become a helicopter pilot. That's what I want to be. And long story short, I somehow managed to get a little bit of money together to start the training and to go for my introduction flight. And then it's just amazing when you're passionate about something, or it's almost as if the universe start opening these doors for you. It's like every time my money ran out, there was just another door that opened, or someone would just offer to loan me some money, or whatever the case might be. So before I knew it, 2 years down the line, after I started, I managed to get my commercial helicopter license as well as my instructor's rating on helicopters. So I was really fortunate. It was just a newspaper article that I read, my mom's intuition, and just passion, and just these doors that opened for me. So that's how I got into the aviation industry.
Brilliant.
And it's been a
great
fantastic
story.
journey.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it. So, I mean, you sort of, with some of the people that you've seen coming through and through the training school, and equally some of the applications that you've heard, I'm just curious, at this point in time, what sort of roles do you see, or have you seen women playing in the drone industry at this stage? Where do you think they are playing a role now?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the guys that I see that come through, a lot of the females that come through are qualified surveyors. So that's fantastic. So they already qualified, and the ability to fly a drone commercially is extremely valuable to them. It's a tool that they use in their current work situation. So for them, it's just getting the additional skill and to be able to use this fantastic tool in their already in the environment that they already qualified in. At the training school that I'm involved in, we do a lot of aviation-related subjects. So in the manned aviation industry, there's certain annual courses and biannual courses that pilots need to do to keep their license current. So we do all the dangerous goods and aviation security and CRM and all those type of courses. So, and SMS, the safety management system courses, the quality assurance courses. So what I've picked up is, unfortunately, even today, a lot of females automatically get pushed into those sort of more administrative roles. So, and I think a lot of females are absolutely fantastic in what they do, because it's not just administrative. You actually need to have a very deep understanding of the whole aviation industry and how everything fits together and how to be compliant and certain things, procedures that need to be followed. They're really good at that, but I think there's a big part that gets missed by, because automatically the guys are sent to become the drone pilots and the females are sent on the quality assurance and the SMS courses.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And I just want to say to them that, as a female, you can actually go and do your license and get to a point where you own a drone business. You can run your own company, your own drone company. As a surveyor, you already have the skill as a surveyor. You now have your drone license. Nothing stops you from opening your own company and your ROC and getting other surveys to fly for you under your company. There's lots of potential. So that's where I see it at the moment. A lot of the females are still being pushed in the administrative roles.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I've gained as well. Yeah. You sort of hinted on there about opportunities. I mean, what other opportunities do you think there are for women in this industry? I mean, now and coming soon, sort of, forthcoming. What do you see out there?
So there's so many different industries where you can use drones. Drones are just cheaper to use. It saves a lot of time. It's really cost saving. It's a lot safer in certain ways. So as an example, instead of sending a person up against a cooling tower with, ropes and a harness, you can actually send a drone up. So you're not endangering a specific person's life by sending that person up. You can use a drone. But if you think at all the different industries, agriculture, forestry, environmental stuff, surveying, mapping, security, oil and gas, it's almost unlimited. There's just new industries that get added every day. So whatever industry females are involved in, they should just look at what the potential is or how drones can advance their services to their current client, because there's so many different applications. So it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. If it's the insurance industry, you can use drones to get certain footage that will help you with certain insurance claims. It's almost unlimited, the application. So whatever your passion is, drones is just an extension of that. You don't go and start a new career as just a drone pilot. Yes, you can. You know, a lot of youngsters do that. They don't know what they want to do, so they get their drone license, and then from there things will evolve. But if you're already established and you have a career, you can just use drones as an extension to your current knowledge, and it's actually really amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, you're right. Definitely. And I think that might become more important as drones become more autonomous. I mean, how long is there going to be a pilot in the way that we see it today? Yeah, so that's an important point. Where's the fun in that anyway, all this autonomous stuff?
Exactly. Exactly. You want to fly it.
Exactly. That's the fun part, you know. I was sad that they sort of say that space travel will be done by remote control, and you kind of think, well, where is the fun in that? You know, I
mean, who's going to see? Yeah, who's going to be in that spaceship looking down onto the blue planet? You want to see that for sure.
Well, exactly. That's it. I mean, Star Trek would be really boring if there wasn't people on the bridge, you know. Anyway, sorry. Just out of curiosity, were there any, I mean, you kind of indicated already when you were becoming a helicopter pilot, the sort of cost implications, but were there any other sort of challenges that stood out for you, either in aviation or especially focused on the sort of drone aspect? Is there something that stands out that you had a bit of a challenge that you had to get over?
With helicopter flying, I remember in the beginning when I just started flying, there were a lot of contract work for a specific company that I used to work for up in Africa, specifically in the Congo. And from the word go, it was just said that the female pilots will not go because the environment that operate in is not quite suitable for females. So I remember it was quite a big conversation we had regarding this, because I said to them, but should that not be my choice if I want to expose myself to that type of environment, instead of saying we're not taking any females, they're not going to cope, you know, it's maybe dirty or whatever the case might be. And I'm like, but I can sleep in the bush under the stars, and I'm okay with that, next to a fire. So I would love the opportunity to be able to do something like that. That exposure and that experience must be absolutely incredible. And the type of helicopters that you fly there as well. So unfortunately, I then left that company and joined another company, an amazing, well, a security company. I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to mention names, but so the chief pilot there, he trained me in operational helicopter work. And there was no difference between male, female there. It was operational work. We had to fly at night with a bulletproof vest under our seats, and sometimes with a person next to me with an R5 rifle. And it was proper, you know, and I never felt like he didn't allow me to do certain things because I was female. I did feel that I did feel like a sister to him, in the sense that he would, you know, make sure that I'm safe, but we both did that with each other anyway. So that was amazing. But definitely there were some times in the aviation industry where I was treated slightly different because I'm female. Unfortunately, in the drone industry, not so much, because I'm the instructor. So you know, that's great. So the students that come through, you know, I have to pass them at the end of the day. No, I'm joking. So yeah, I must say that in the drone industry, I haven't experienced challenges personally. I'm not so sure if some of my female students maybe have experienced. One or two have mentioned to me that the guys at work won't allow them to practice with the company drone or things like that. But I think that's just, you know, basics. If someone doesn't have a license, not to necessarily give them a drone to fly with, It
Mm.
will still cost a couple of rand to fix. But
Yes.
otherwise, no. I think things have changed a bit since I joined 13 years ago.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting points, though. I mean, you have international students, hey, at Cranfield?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, are you aware of what's going on with the sort of drone scene for women in Africa from that sort of exposure?
As far as I gather from the students that we have at Cranfield, I think I've had one student, a female student from Africa,
Okay.
that's come for a drone license. So to be honest, I don't think women flying in Africa is a very big thing at this point in time. I honestly haven't heard of a lot of females. Here and there, you hear someone, and then they actually go quite far and they do quite a bit. But I don't think it's a common thing. But there's so much opportunity for women, in this regard,
Yes.
actually. So I think it's just more a question of exposure, and role models and
Yeah.
people to look up to. So what you're busy doing here is actually fantastic, because that's the whole point of this, isn't it? To inspire
Absolutely, yeah.
women. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the version of the newspaper that you saw. That talking to you will inspire someone else that, hey, look, this is something I can do and I will do, and take it from there.
Exactly.
So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
That's what I really want women in Drones Africa to really raise awareness about this and inspire girls and boys, of course, but especially get girls involved in this industry.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've offered some great advice throughout the whole chat, but is there anything in particular, if someone said to you, hey, look, I'm kind of looking at this, but really not sure, what particular advice would you say if girls or women or anybody really was looking at this industry?
Well, I must say, I think drones were still in the infancy stage. It's sort of still relatively new, although things develop so quickly and there's new technology almost every day. I always think it's good to be one of the first movers in a new industry, to learn as much as possible, as much as possible about different applications. I really think there's so much opportunity. It doesn't matter who you are in this industry. And because it's new, there's new stuff happening every day. You can just let your creative juices flow. It's really almost unlimited. It's whatever you can imagine is possible. A few years ago, we were watching movies about drones, and it looked completely impossible. You know what I mean? And these days, every 100th person owns one. So just imagine where we're going to be 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Imagine you're going to be in charge of a drone that flies people from Joburg to Cape Town, just as an example. It's very possible, but you have to start somewhere, right? You have to start with your RPL license. You need to learn about different applications and regulations and all that type of stuff. But I want to encourage anyone, just because it's so exciting and because it's unlimited. There's so many opportunities.
It's a common theme that's coming up. Get to know the industry and appreciate what it is. But yeah, you're absolutely right again. And you made a point there, which you reminded me. Drones aren't always this big. I mean, you've got these massive drones for carrying people. Now they're talking about drones for carrying containers. You've got these long endurance, high altitude. I mean, it's not just this big. It's something that, and again, you're just adding different applications, different ways of how to take this industry. So great advice.
So much good that you can do with drones. They're doing a lot of testing now in South Africa already with the South African blood SAAB, the blood people. So they want to use drones to deliver blood to rural areas where it's not possible necessarily to get there with an ambulance or certain cars. And so it's just really amazing. Imagine drones delivering organs. Someone needs an organ immediately, and you can get it there without sitting in the traffic and deliver it with a drone to the hospital at that clinic or wherever it is in the veld or in the veld hospital. So just so many great applications of making the world a better place, improving people's lives, and making a difference out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the most exciting parts about the industry. It really does have that enormous potential to make a difference by doing something good, and it's very satisfying, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Is there anything else you want to? I've finished all my major questions there. Is there anything else that has sprung to mind that you would like to mention?
So I think it is important that people realize what the process is for them to become legal drone operators. Often people think they just need to obtain their license and then they're legal. And then the first day they come to class, our first subject that I teach is law, air law, and the application of that. And then they sit there with big eyes because they've never heard of a ROC or that you need a company to fly under. And I always feel so sorry for them because they're already there. And their dream of being able to operate, 2 weeks from the start of the course is then shattered because it will take some time to actually create an ROC. But I just want to say there's different possibilities in the industry. You don't necessarily have to create your own ROC, or while you're busy creating your own ROC, you can work under an umbrella ROC, like for instance, All About Drones. As an example, there are companies out there that can assist the guys in actually getting them, just to start their business and to start earning money and to pay back for the license and so on. So I think just do your homework, and they can actually just contact me if they want any advice. Actually, I'm happy to give my email address or even telephone number if there's anyone out there that needs some advice, or they're uncertain about certain things, or they're not quite sure how to go about certain things. I'm happy to chat to them at any time. They can just send me an email and we can do that.
Thank you. I'll add that information at the end. Thank you so much. That'll be great.
Perfect. Okay, awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. It was great chatting to you. Really interesting listening to the helicopter side and the drone side as well. But thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Louise. No problem.
Yeah. I'll just say cheers to the audience. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. There'll be more Zoom chats with trailblazing women in the African drone industry coming up. But in the meantime, keep safe and keep well. Cheers.